What really happens when a person stops trying to control everything and finally trusts God completely? Not just with words, not just with worship songs, not just when life is easy, but completely. Because many people say, I trust God. But deep inside, they are still afraid, still anxious, still forcing doors, still trying to carry a future that was never meant to rest on their shoulders. They pray, but they still panic. They worship, but they still worry. They say, God is in control, but their heart is still fighting for control. But in the kingdom, trust is not just a feeling. Trust is surrender. Trust is obedience. Trust is saying, Lord, even when I do not understand, I still believe you are faithful. The Bible is filled with people who trusted God completely. Abraham trusted God and left the familiar behind. Noah trusted God and built an ark before the rain came. David trusted God and stood before Goliath. Daniel trusted God and refused to bow. Mary trusted God and said, Let it be unto me according to your word. Trusting God does not mean life becomes perfect. It means your soul stops living like God has abandoned you. And today, we are going to look at 6 things that happen when you trust God completely. Watch until the end, because one of these may be exactly what your heart needs today. Number 1, you stop trying to force what God has not opened. One of the first signs that you trust God completely is that you stop forcing doors. You stop chasing what God is not giving. You stop begging people to stay when God is allowing them to leave. You stop trying to make things happen just because you are afraid to wait. Psalm 37:5 says, Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Notice, it does not say, force it until it works. It says, commit it to the Lord, trust him, and he will bring it to pass. Many people are exhausted, not because God has failed them, but because they are trying to do God's job. They are trying to create the promise, control the timing, control the outcome, control people, control tomorrow. But complete trust says, Lord, I will obey, but I will not force. Abraham had to learn this. God promised him a son, but the waiting was long, and when Abraham and Sarah tried to help God fulfill the promise their own way, it created pain and confusion. Because whenever we try to produce in the flesh what God promised by the Spirit, we create unnecessary battles. But when Isaac came, it was not because Abraham forced the promise. It was because God was faithful. Some doors are closed because God is protecting you. Some delays are not punishment. They are preparation. Some no's from God are actually mercy. When you trust God completely, you can say, Lord, if it is from you, establish it. And if it is not from you, I do not want it. That is trust. Number 2, your heart becomes steady in uncertainty. When you trust God completely, you may not know what is next, but you know who is leading you. And that changes everything. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. God does not say, trust me only when you understand. He says, do not lean on your own understanding. Why? Because your understanding is limited. Your emotions can be unstable. Your fear can exaggerate the problem, but God sees what you cannot see. He sees the full road, while you only see the next step. Think about Ruth. She lost her husband. Her future looked broken. Her life looked uncertain, but she chose faithfulness. She followed Naomi, not knowing that her obedience would lead her to Boaz, not knowing that her story would become part of the family line of Jesus Christ. Ruth did not see the whole plan. She just took the next faithful step. And sometimes, that is what trust looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet obedience, one step at a time. Isaiah 41:10 says, Fear not, for I am with you. That is the foundation, not. Fear not, because you will understand everything. But fear not, because I am with you. When God is with you, the unknown is not empty. When God is with you, the wilderness can still have provision. When God is with you, uncertainty is not the end of your story. If this message is speaking to your heart, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe to Stick to the Kingdom. And if you want to go deeper in this journey of trust, we are preparing a powerful resource on fasting. Because sometimes trusting God completely also means learning how to silence the flesh, deny the distractions, and seek God with your whole heart. So make sure you download the free guide, the 7-Day Fasting Battle Plan, using the link in the comment section below. It will guide you through your fasting journey, help you prepare your heart spiritually, and lead you toward a deeper walk with God. Number 3, your obedience becomes stronger than your feelings. One of the greatest proofs of trust is obedience. Not obedience when it is easy. Not obedience when everybody supports you. Not obedience when it feels comfortable. But obedience when your emotions are fighting against it. John 14:15 says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Love for God is not proven only by words. It is proven by surrender. It is proven when your heart says, "Lord, not my will, but yours be done." Look at Noah. God told him to build an ark, but there was no rain yet, no flood yet, no visible proof yet. People probably mocked him. People probably thought he was foolish, but Noah kept building. Why? Because he trusted what God said, more than what people thought. Hebrews 11:7 says, "By faith, Noah prepared an ark." Noah's obedience looked strange until the rain came. And this is powerful. Sometimes obedience looks foolish until God reveals why he told you to do it. Sometimes your surrender will not make sense to others. Sometimes your separation from sin will look extreme to people who are still comfortable in darkness. But complete trust does not ask for everyone to understand. It simply says, "God spoke, that is enough." True trust is not just something you say, it is something you live. Number 4, fear loses its authority over you. When you trust God completely, fear may still speak, but it no longer rules. Fear may knock, but it no longer owns the house. Fear may try to rise, but faith answers with the word of God. Psalm 56:3 says, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." Notice, David did not say, "I never feel afraid." He said, "When I am afraid." That means faith does not deny fear exists. Faith decides where to run when fear appears. David faced Goliath when the whole army was afraid. Everyone saw the giant. But David remembered his God. He said, "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, he will deliver me." David did not win because he was bigger. He won because he trusted God more than he feared the giant. That is what trust does. It changes your focus. Fear says, "Look how big the problem is." Faith says, "Look how faithful God has been." Fear says, "You are alone." Faith says, "The Lord is with me." 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." When you trust God completely, you stop letting fear make your decisions. You stop letting fear silence your prayer. You stop letting fear delay your obedience. You begin to walk like someone who knows the King is with them. Number 5, you learn to wait without losing faith. Waiting is one of the greatest tests of trust. It is easy to say, "I trust God," when everything is moving fast. But what about when nothing changes? What about when the door stays closed? What about when the prayer is not answered yet? What about when others seem to move forward while you feel hidden? Psalm 27:14 says, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart." Waiting requires courage, because waiting can make you feel forgotten. Waiting can expose impatience. Waiting can tempt you to settle for less, just because you are tired. But complete trust says, "I will not trade God's best for a quick escape from waiting." Look at David. He was anointed to be king, but he did not become king immediately. He went back to the field. He served. He fought. He ran from Saul. He lived in caves. He had chances to take the throne by force, but he refused. Why? Because David trusted God's timing. He knew, if God promised the throne, he did not need to steal it. That is powerful. When you trust God, you do not have to rush what God has already promised. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come." The waiting season is not wasted. God may be forming your character, purifying your motives, strengthening your prayer life, preparing you for what you asked Him to give you. Sometimes the blessing is not the only thing being prepared. You are being prepared too. Number 6, your life becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness. When you trust God completely, your life begins to point back to Him, not because everything is perfect, but because people can see God is sustaining you. They see you go through storms, but you do not quit. They see you face pressure, but you do not bow. They see you wait, but you keep praying. They see you suffer, but you do not lose your faith. And eventually, your life starts to testify God is faithful. Daniel trusted God privately before he ever faced the lions publicly. He prayed faithfully. He lived with integrity. He refused to compromise. And when he was thrown into the lion's den, God shut the mouths of the lions. Daniel's trust became a testimony. Paul and Silas were beaten and thrown into prison. But at midnight, they prayed and sang praises to God. They worshiped before the chains broke. They trusted before the doors opened. And then suddenly, God shook the prison. The doors opened. The chains were loosed. Their trust became a testimony. And maybe someone is watching your life right now, watching how you handle pressure, watching how you wait, watching how you forgive, watching how you keep obeying God, even when it costs you something. Your trust may become the evidence someone else needs, that God is real. So what happens when you trust God completely? You stop forcing what God has not opened. Your heart becomes steady in uncertainty. Your obedience becomes stronger than your feelings. Fear loses its authority over you. You learn to wait without losing faith. And your life becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness. Complete trust is not built in one moment. It is built daily. Every time you pray instead of panic. Every time you obey instead of compromise. Every time you wait instead of forcing. Every time you surrender instead of controlling. Every time you say, "Lord, I do not understand, but I still trust you." That is faith. That is surrender. That is kingdom trust. So today, bring God the thing you keep trying to control. Bring Him the fear you keep hiding. Bring Him the burden you keep carrying. Bring Him the promise that feels delayed. And say, "Father, I trust you completely." Not because life is easy, not because everything makes sense, but because you are faithful, you are good, you are wise, and you never fail. If this video blessed you, like this video, subscribe to Stick to the Kingdom, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And comment below, "Lord, I trust you completely." Keep walking by faith. Keep obeying the King. Keep surrendering the outcome. And remember, even when the road is hidden, the shepherd is not lost. Even when the promise feels delayed, the King is still faithful. And even when you cannot see His hand, you can still trust His heart. And if you want to go deeper, watch the video on the screen right now.